Good afternoon and welcome to the Invest Yukon session here at Precious Metals Beaver Creek Virtual. I'm pleased to introduce to you David D'Onofrio, CEO and Director, and Shawn Ryan, Chief Technical Advisor and Director of White Gold Corp, listed on the Toronto Venture Exchange under WGO. David, you'll see there on camera, and you'll hear from Shawn right from the Dawson area. So I'll hand it over to you, gentlemen.
Thanks, Anne. Pleasure to be able to present White Gold to everyone. Hopefully everyone's having a great conference. White Gold Corp is a very unique exploration company for a bunch of different reasons. It's been around only for a few years now, but it's really the culmination of over a couple decades of work and a tremendous amount of capital spent and success in the district where we're focused, being the White Gold District. The White Gold District is the prolific area in the Yukon, also known as the Klondike. It was the heart of the gold rush at the turn of the century. It's been had an exceptional amount of gold placer production since that time, over 20 million ounces, and is still very active to this day, and remains, the lure for riches continues as we see sort of A&E has its hit show and Gold Rush, et cetera, et cetera. But this company here, what we're after is not the surface placer gold. We're looking for the sources of some of that gold into the hard rock. And, despite the tremendous amount of placer gold that's been discovered in the district over the years, there had been only very limited modern day exploration. And that really sort of only came on the map, those efforts, about 10 years ago when Underworld Resources had its first discovery with the Golden Saddle deposit. And that was followed by an acquisition by Kinross. Kaminak Resources had another big discovery, which was taken out by Gold Corp in 2016 for $520 million. This district was initially prospected and staked by Shawn Ryan, who's our partner in this company. Shawn's been up there for a decade and really sort of has developed a unique way to explore the area, and it's led to the discovery of the multi-million ounces of gold that I mentioned so far. And Shawn's been able to compile what's, I believe, a generational opportunity in terms of the size of a land package with the prospectivity and the the fact that it's in a tier 1 jurisdiction is incredibly unique. And that uniqueness was shared by our group of partners who founded this company along with us, being the Power One Capital Group out of Toronto, and Agnico Eagle, who came in as a 20% partner from the onset of the company. Since that time, we've also been able to attract Kinross as a major partner, who vended in their deposits, which they acquired through the acquisition of Underworld Resources. And now Eric Sprott is also a significant shareholder in our company. When you put that all together, I think, it's very unique. We have a huge land package, 1 million acres. We have a flagship deposit, which, in total is just under 1.8 million ounces, very high grade in a tier 1 jurisdiction with an incredibly large and prospective blue sky portfolio. It's a company we're very excited to be involved with, and think we're just literally scratching the surface in terms of being able to unlock the riches of this historic and prolific jurisdiction. And with that introduction, I'll turn it over to Shawn Ryan, the man who's responsible for all the success and who's continuing to sort of build value for our company.
Okay, thank you. So this image is showing you just our peers, but yeah, perfect. This is the one I want. Yeah, no, we keep moving. So here's our portfolio package. And this is kind of how we work. We have early stage exploration. We have mid-tier exploration, like the mid stage, where we found something and we're putting some rab holes and it's an advance, and then we have the complete advance where we're actually drilling off ounces. So we kind of simultaneously run exploration programs, a little bit on each every year to advance the advanced projects, but to pick up the early stages so they get up into the drilling stage. So we own over 40% of the actual district. And the idea is that that's based on 80%. We own 80% of the known soil anomalies in this big area. So that's, like, I've been doing this, we have over 400,000 soils. So here's a picture of the Underworld, or the original Underworld area, the Golden Saddle that we picked up from Kinross. And you can see our resource numbers there. So it's a little over 1.5 million ounces in that one area. And that's the flagship. And we're slowly moving this. So we're still trying to figure out what we're going to do with this asset. By this winter, we're going to come up with some ideas. So next, the VG deposit is a smaller deposit. It was found on one of my other claim blocks that Comstock had optioned from me in 2011. So we picked it back up, and you can see topographically, it's not too, it's in a nice little area, so it's not too rugged. And this one's got some expansion to be done with it, but it's literally 10 kilometers from the Golden Saddle, and the ore in the little picture, you can see it's exactly a duplicate to the Golden Saddle. So metallurgically, it's a twin. So it'll be easy to work with. So next, this was our 2020 program. And the idea is that last year we had about a $11 million program. This year we brought it back down to 4 million because of COVID. And we got a little bit later start. So we knew that was going to happen because we're in the Yukon and they quarantine everybody coming through the gate here. So, but we were able to do a 1,500 meter program, diamond drill program on the Ryan Surprise, which is on the White property. And it's a little satellite area. I'll show you in a minute. And the Titan, we did about a 1,500 meter diamond drill program on that one. That was just off from the JP Ross property. We poked in about 25 rab holes, and that's to get these things ready for diamond drilling because it's cheaper to run a rab. So we ran that this summer. We're still finishing up our last few holes, and then we did another roughly 10 to 11,000 soils. We're still doing that as we speak, and we did about 600 kilometers of ground mag VLF on the various targets to get them spruced up. So that's kind of this method of madness, like we kind of have a little bit of each going on so that we have brand new targets to come through the gate. So next. So this is the Ryan Surprise. It's about 2 kilometers from the Golden Saddle. And we started drilling a few holes in there in 2018. We had a nice hit at 20 grams over 6 meters. And then we went back in last year and we poked just a few more holes, and we hit hole 12, hit multiple intersections. So you can see 2.6 over 11 and 2.8 over 4 and 3.5 over 8. So some nice grades, some nice hits in there. And that's what we, like I said, we came back in this year. So I'll show you on the next slide. And then, oh, I see. Okay. So then this is the Titan project. So the Titan was just over from the JP Ross project. And you can see where the inset map is, the star. And this one was a brand new target that we tapped into last year with some soil sampling. And we poked a couple of quick rab holes. We ended up getting a 72 gram hit over 6 meters. So we didn't really know what this was because it's very unique to this area. It's not like our other kind of high grade hits that we hit here and there. It was with massive magnetite. So that's what you're seeing as a magnetic map, and it's a kind of a round oriole like this. And that's what we're starting to lean towards. That it must be a buried porphyry under here because it has copper and moly. But with these exceptional grades, it might be leaning towards a magnetite type or like our skarn type. And that's what magnetite is sometimes around porphyries. So we cursorily, like we drilled a few holes with the rab, was the blue dots. And early in the season to see what those magnetic expressions were. We put a downhole televiewer down to get an oriented picture to see what it truly is. And then we followed up late in the season here with these diamond drills holes, the pink ones, just to get a better, get deeper and get a nice visual with the core in our hands. So those assays are still pending because everybody was behind for literally for, well, it's about a 6-week to 7-week turnaround time. So that this map is just showing you it's the southern part of our district towards our Betty project. And what you can see here is the coffee is on the north side of the structure. It actually cuts across that. You can see that blue linear line going through. That's the Coffee Creek Fault. The sugar soil anomaly just south of the fault. But you can see the expressions is wherever it breaks up with the magnetics. So that's telling you there's cracks going on. The big casino that's got roughly well over 14 million ounces and indicated in reserves of lower grade because it's a porphyry, but you can see how it's sitting on this magnetic feature. And lo and behold, the Betty, just on trend, is following that Coffee Creek fault, and the Dip Creek is coming from the south, blowing up through there. So that really set up a good geological setting. So Ethos was in there back in 2012, and they drilled some pretty nice holes. They were only there, and then the market crashed, so they gave the project back the next year. So we're still not sure, but they had 41 meters at 2.6 grams. Was that real width and grade, or is it a down dip? We're going to find out because we're going to head in there next year. But we had 3 meters of 29 grams they had. And when we went in 2008, we worked the north part where that little red block is, and inset, and we worked on the north side of the Coffee Creek Falls. And lo and behold, we hit the last hole we hit was 50 meters of 1 gram plus material with oxide material in it. So half of the hole was oxide. So that's exactly what we're kind of looking for. But because we found this vertical and these other hits, we actually got sidetracked over there. So we're on our way back to there next year, and we're hoping to have about a 10 diamond drill hole program on that target. Next. So these are some of the targets that we're kind of getting ready in the queue. The Bonanza is basically, you can see on the left-hand side, that's Bonanza Creek. 6 million ounces of placer gold came out of there with no known real source. The Lone Star has some indications. They have some old veins, but nothing to explain the 6 million ounces. So this magnetic feature in the middle, that you can see that's mapping out the structure. And lo and behold, coming from where there is some known showings on top, you can see that structure crossing where they actually found the placer gold, where ground zero was, right in that middle arrow. That's right on that crack. That's where they found all this. That's what started the Klondike Gold Rush. And you can see the right-hand inset is actually the gravity background with the magnetic on top going through our property with the showings from the Klondike Gold guys. And you can see how this correlation. So that's tapped into something at depth, and that's where we think part of this gold system came from. Next. And the last project we're just getting ready in the queue is the Nolan. That's just west, or at least we call it the 60-mile project, and it's just west of Dawson in another unique placer gold field. So that lower left inset, you can see that's a magnetic map, but that yellow dashed line going through, that's where there was 500,000 ounces of placer pulled out of there. So lo and behold, when we looked up in the hills above, we found that Nolan target, and it's a nice linear anomaly, almost 4 kilometers long. And then that one on the hard right, that's the Heart Mountain one. And that's the lower part of the project. And that's a soil anomaly that's well over 4 kilometers by 2 that we're getting ready to be spruced up with more detailed soils, ground geophysics. And the intent is to come up with targets to trench and rab drill this for next year, just like the Bonanza. So we should have a couple of nice targets. Next, I think this is the last one. So that's what we're getting at, is White Gold is kind of a unique company. We have multiple projects, and they're coming in at different phases. But the way we're moving here, like we're coming into the drill stages, and we should have for the next basically, targets coming out of this, year after year. So that's what we're trying to do here, is set these targets up for some nice discoveries over the next 2 or 3 years. So stay tuned. White Gold.